Jeff, how useless is this number this morning?
Well, it's a good question, Jonathan. A lot of noise in this number between the revisions, between the strike impact, between the hurricane, the BLS not coming out with much clarity on that. So I think the market reaction is to the headline disappointment. We were underpricing to 100% probability on November. I think that makes sense. I think the discussion on the wages and focusing on ECI is probably the bigger story, focusing on the unemployment rate, a more important read-through for the Fed. And I don't think this is going to really significantly change the near-term trajectory. I think more importantly is the longer-term trajectory has been repriced dramatically. And I don't think anything we see in today's data is going to reprice that into 2025 pace of Fed expectations, given the noise in today's data.
Based on these numbers, is that basically your base case, too, that they're going to take this window to front load?
Yeah, if you look at where the market has been moving, it's not really been in the November and December expectations. The Fed's kind of done a pretty good job saying we're going to front load. There's a debate about whether 50 was a mistake or not. Okay, let's put that to the side. That's behind us. So it's really about the forward-looking 2025, 2026 path. That's been repriced. And I think the story going into next year will be the Fed talking about, hey, we've gotten started here in terms of normalization. We don't have to go quite as fast because away from today's data, the economic data, yesterday's data, is much stronger than the kind of fears over a very restrictive Fed policy would otherwise say. So they can kind of pull back. Maybe they start to talk about every other meeting. That's kind of in the price. And so I think the Fed's got itself in a better place. We're going to get the front-loaded cuts, 50 last time, 25, 25, and then every other meeting that's kind of aligned. And then we'll see where the data goes and where the debate on R* and how restrictive are we really. The economic data has held up pretty well. Yes, this is a downside disappointment, but the broader message is labor markets have been normalizing. They're not collapsing. They're normalizing. They're still trying to stick the soft landing, and I think the soft landing is still the message.